take a moment, use your imagination. Imagine you're at a farm, and for some reason you need to go from one side to the other. And to do that, you have to cross a paddock, a corral with lots of horses in it. And the horse has been there for a while, and it's actually been raining. And the horses are there, and they're doing what horses do when they're standing around, and they're also chomping around and kind of mixing up what they dropped. And then the rain comes down, and you climb the fence, and you have thigh-high boots on, but you walk across, and of course your boots get all muddy and nasty. All right, now imagine the same scenario, but this time you don't have thigh-high boots on. You have open-toed sandals with no socks or anything else. And imagine as you cross the paddock, the ground is such that you're sinking in, maybe not real deep, maybe only a quarter of an inch or a half an inch or something, but the semi-liquid is on the top of your toes. Well, that is kind of like what life was like in Israel on the day Jesus had his Last Supper. The disciples walked to the house on the dirt road, and the dirt road was a road that also had sheep and donkeys and horse and a little bit of everything else and goats. And they were doing the things animals do as they walk along. And we don't know, it might have rained, it might not have, but it still was pretty moist. And their hoofs would turn that all over and make it even messier. And here come the disciples walking to the house to have the Last Supper with Jesus, and they're wearing open-toed sandals. And their feet are getting pretty dirty. Well, in Jesus' time, if a house had servants or slaves, one of the roles of the lowest person in that section was to clean the feet of the family members and the guests. Well, Jesus has been talking to the disciples. One of the things he keeps saying is that Jesus' followers, that's us, are called to be servants to all other people. In fact, he's already said the new commandment is to love one another, and by that he means not how we feel, but what we do, to care for others as Jesus has cared for us. And like any really good teacher, Jesus knows sometimes words aren't enough. It helps them demonstrate. So Jesus kneels down next to the disciples. He has a towel of his shoulder, and he has a bowl of water, and he begins to wash those dirty, nasty, smelly feet. And he says, what I have done to you, you should do for others, not meaning specifically to wash the feet, but rather it means to go to such extreme measures to help the other person. But let's take that a step further. Scripture tells us that Jesus knew what Judas was about to do. Jesus knew that Judas was about to betray him and to help the Romans arrest him, try him, convict him, torture him, and kill him. Judas was part of that, and Jesus knew that. And Jesus' reaction to that was to kneel down next to Judas and wash his feet. In our society today, that's an interesting model to contemplate. During a time when if somebody disagrees with us, we're likely to have a much more negative reaction. If somebody does anything to us, we feel it's a challenge that has to be met, not through love, but through returning evil for evil. And Jesus said we should follow his example. to return evil with good. Now, many churches on what's known as Maundy Thursday, Maundy comes from the Old English for commandment. On Maundy Thursday, many churches replicate the washing of feet. During the service, it can either be the church leaders washing the feet of the members, or it could be the members washing each other's feet. It's done both ways. And the whole idea is to kind of get us in touch with what Jesus was telling us. It can be a really, really powerful time in the service. I invite you to check with your closest Episcopal church about the schedule and whether or not they're doing the foot washing. And if they are, and if you'd like, please go in there. Now, you don't have to participate if you don't want to. You can if you want to. You can just sit and watch. Both are acceptable. You'll see members doing both, so you won't be a stranger. But it can be one of the most powerful few moments of your life, and I invite you to it. Blessings.